In the small village of Iustal, nestled deep within the dense forests, an ancient and terrifying legend lurked. The locals spoke of a malevolent entity known as Iustal, a sinister force that brought nothing but suffering and despair. This entity was said to harm not only people but the innocent animals that roamed the surrounding lands as well. According to the beliefs passed down from generation to generation, Iustal would silently slither into the homes of unsuspecting victims, its presence going undetected until it was too late. When the Iustal settled its icy grip upon a person, illness and torment would soon follow. The effects of Iustal were said to be cruel and merciless. The afflicted would endure excruciating pain, their bodies ravaged by a relentless and unseen force. Friends and family would helplessly watch as their loved one writhed in agony, helpless to ease their suffering. As whispers of Iustal's devastation spread through the village, fear began to take root in the hearts of the villagers. They lived in constant dread, each day wondering who would be the next victim of this malevolent force. Desperate prayers were whispered, offerings were made, but Iustal remained elusive, striking without warning. Nightfall was the time when the village was consumed by darkness, both literally and figuratively. I started nervously, every creak and rustle amplifying the shadow of Iustal's presence. The villagers huddled together, clutching their loved ones tightly, hoping to find solace in each other's embrace. Yet, despite the air of foreboding that blanketed Iustal, a beacon of hope shone amidst the despair. A brave young woman named Elena emerged, determined to uncover the truth behind the legend. She delved into ancient texts, seeking answers from the wisest of the village elders who held fragments of forgotten knowledge. Armed with knowledge and a resolve that burned fiercely within her, Elena set forth on a treacherous journey deep into the heart of the forest, where Iustal was rumored to reside. The villagers watched with anxious anticipation, their hopes hanging on Elena's courage and determination. What would Elena discover within the mysterious depths of the forest? Would she uncover the truth behind the legend of Iustal or fall victim to its treacherous grip? The villagers held their breath, their hearts poised between the realms of hope and despair, as the fate of Iustal and its victims remained precariously balanced, waiting to be revealed. As Elena ventured deeper into the mysterious forest, fueled by a burning desire for vengeance, her heart grew darker with every step. The tragic loss of her father at the hands of the villagers had etched a deep hatred within her, and she saw in Iustal a potential ally to exact her revenge. Finally, she reached the ethereal presence of Iustal, its ominous figure hovering amidst the shadows. With a voice filled with venomous determination, Elena addressed the malevolent entity. Iustal, I know the power you possess, and I seek to harness it for a greater purpose. My father was wrongfully taken from me, and I yearn for justice. Together, we can unleash your wrath upon the village that stole everything from my family. Iustal's form flickered and writhed, its ominous energy resonating with Elena's macabre intentions. It had long yearned for a willing vessel to carry out its misdeeds, and now it deemed Elena as the perfect conduit for its retribution. The entity's voice echoed with resonance as it coldly replied, Elena, your desire for vengeance aligns with my hunger for chaos. Together, we shall plunge the village into despair and agony, just as they caused you and your father. A dark alliance was forged between Elena and Iustal, their shared intent to bring ruin upon the unsuspecting villagers. Elena returned to the village, her intentions veiled beneath a deceptive facade of righteousness. As Iustal's insidious influence seeped deeper into her soul, whispers of unease swept through the village as Elena, now consumed by malice, orchestrated a series of accidents and misfortunes that befell the unsuspecting villagers. Crops withered, the once prosperous soil turned barren, and strange illnesses plagued those who had wronged Elena's family. Fear gripped the hearts of the villagers, for they sensed an unseen force working against them, their very lives slipping into darkness. As the village descended into chaos, Elena reveled in her twisted triumph. Yet, amidst the destruction she had unleashed, a glimmer of doubt sparked within her. The memories of her father's love and kindness began to resurface, momentarily piercing through the darkness that clouded her heart. Aeustal, sensing Elena's wavering resolve, gradually tightened its grip on her, whispering sweet promises of ultimate revenge. It fed on her bitterness and fueled her desire for further destruction. The alliance between Elena and Aeustal had become a toxic symbiotic relationship, gradually devouring any remnants of humanity left within her. As day after day passed, the village sank further into the depths of despair. Unexplained disasters befell the unsuspecting villagers with increasing ferocity, their lives shattered by a force they couldn't comprehend. What they failed to realize was that Elena, consumed by her alliance with Aeustal, had become a puppet in that entity's ruthless gain. Aeustal's presence, hidden deep within Elena's being, manipulated her actions and thoughts, ensuring that suspicion never fell upon her. She moved through the village with a feigned innocence, masked by a picture of grief and concern for her fallen father. The villagers, blinded by their own struggles, were oblivious to the darkness that now resided within her. Elena watched in silent satisfaction as chaos unfolded. Crops withered, leaving the once vibrant fields bare. Livestock fell prey to unexplained illnesses, their agonizing cries echoing through the village. Suspicion and fear gnawed at the fraying edges of the community, fracturing bonds that were once unbreakable. The villagers sought solace in one another, clinging to the remnants of hope that lay buried beneath the layers of torment. But with each passing day, their faith waned, replaced by a growing feeling of helplessness. Aeustal reveled in their suffering, thriving on the pain it had unleashed through Elena's once loving heart. Haunted by her actions but unable to break free from Aeustal's suffocating grip, Elena retreated into solitude, wrestling with her fractured conscience. She could hear the whispers and bewilderment of the villagers, their accusatory glances and hushed conversations. Yet she remained trapped in her own personal prison. As the village teetered on the brink of collapse, an elderly woman named Ira, known for her ancient wisdom, sensed the nefarious presence manipulating their lives. Her searching eyes fell upon Elena, and she recognized the hint of darkness that clouded the young woman's spirit. Ira, realizing the immense power Aeustal held, embarked on a perilous journey to uncover the truth and release Elena from the entity's clutches. The elderly woman delved into the forbidden tomes and consulted with ancient spirits, her resolve unwavering as she sought a way to free Elena from her malevolent alliance. With every sacrifice and plea to the spirits, Ira's efforts bore fruit. She discovered a hidden ritual, a last-ditch attempt to sever the bond between Elena and Aeustal. Guided by the ethereal whispers of ancient forces, Ira prepared to confront the entity that had plunged their village into endless torment. In the depths of a moonlit night, Ira confronted the formidable presence of Aeustal within Elena. The entity, sensing Ira's determination, lashed out with all its fury, desperate to maintain control over its vessel. But Ira's unwavering faith and connection to higher powers shielded her from Aeustal's onslaught. As the village slept, unaware of the battle transpiring, Ira performed the sacred ritual, chanting incantations that reverberated through the night air. The ritual's power surged, joined by the collective hope of the villagers who, despite their despair, clung to a fading belief in salvation. A blinding light enveloped Elena, contrasting the darkness that had plagued her for so long. As Aistel's grasp weakened, its essence seeping back into the shadows, Elena gasped for air, her eyes bright with a newfound clarity. The Dark Alliance had been severed, and she was free once again. With renewed purpose, Elena emerged from the shadows, determined to mend the broken bonds of her community. She revealed the truth of Aistel's reign, seeking forgiveness for her unwitting role in the village's suffering. Though scars remained, the forgiveness and resilience of the villagers prevailed, forging a path towards healing and redemption. For a brief respite, Elena found herself free from the clutches of darkness. Yet, little did she know that the bond she shared with Aistel was irrevocable, forever intertwined in the fabric of her soul. Despite her momentary liberation, that entity's presence remained dormant, waiting for an opportune moment to strike back. In the aftermath of Aistel's temporary banishment, the village experienced a deceptive calm. The villagers, unaware of Elena's connection to the malevolent entity, believed that the worst was behind them. They resumed their lives, their sense of normalcy gradually returning as they sought solace in the illusion of safety. But the forces of darkness don't easily relent. Aistel, though temporarily weakened, began to rebuild its strength, silently plotting its revenge. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, with Elena living under a cloud of constant unease, knowing that Aistel's return was inevitable. Finally, the time came for Aistel to unleash its wrath upon the unsuspecting village. It emerged from the shadows, formidable and relentless, its presence engulfing the village with a suffocating darkness. Chaos erupted once again, only this time it was even more devastating than before. Crops withered at an alarming pace, leaving the villagers on the brink of famine. Untold diseases ravaged the community, claiming lives with ruthless efficiency. Fear and despair permeated every corner, extinguishing the flickering flames of hope that the villagers had desperately clung to. With each passing day, the village crumbled, its once thriving spirit shattered beyond repair. Families were torn apart, turning against each other in a desperate bid for survival. The once close-knit community dissolved into anarchy and despair, trampled beneath the weight of Aistel's vengeance. Elena, burdened with guilt and regret, witnessed the devastation she had unwittingly unleashed upon her home. She fought desperately to find a way to banish Aistel once and for all, but its grip on her soul remained unyielding. The entity reveled in her pain, forcing her to witness the ruin she had become. No savior emerged to deliver the village from its plight. The once prosperous land was reduced to a desolate wasteland, haunted by the echoes of its former existence. The legacy of Aistel's malevolence became etched in the annals of history, a tale of darkness that would be spoken of for generations to come.